And my last dog, Zeke, he's still here with us. And I made a post recently about living and dealing with a dangerous dog, and he was. I was involved with his life at 10 weeks. My good friends imported him from Germany at 10 weeks old, and I was involved with the puppy training, bite development stuff, and they owned a couple of businesses, got very busy. So I bought him when he was about 7 months old. And I loved his nose. And even at that age, I could see like my kids were in his crosshairs. Like he was an asshole, angry dog as a puppy. And that began to manifest. And he was an incredible dog. So I got to see his life evolve too. And I was involved with a shooting with him on the road, suicide by cop call, a guy charged me with a knife. And I had the dog in one hand, and just my life flashed before me, and I had to spray and pray, and hopefully I hit the guy. And it was dark. The guy had a big 14-inch knife, and I could see like when I discharged the gun, and that dog is bouncing right in front of it. I put 8 rounds right between his ears, and he never blinked, never wavered. The guy hit the ground, got back up, hit the ground again. I have no idea if I hit him, but I knew that he had dropped the knife. So I holstered my gun. I told the guy to stop resisting, let me see his hands. And he was still moving around on the ground. Again, it was super dark. There was some ambient light, and I knew that he had separated from the knife. So my intention was to deploy the dog and do was like staple him on his shoulder and drag him away from where I thought the knife was. There was a little short hedge in between us, maybe like thigh high on me. The dog jumped over the hedge, and the guy was wearing like a windbreaker, kind of like a nylon material. So the dog hit the ground. He skipped off the windbreaker, and both his canines went from temple to temple. He got the guy right across the face. And I saw the guy had like a momentary kind of like a half a little sit up, and then he died. The guy died right there, and I had to pull the dog off him, and the team came in to secure him and found the knife right where I thought it was. And it was a tragic loss of life. There's a whole story behind that, and it was horrible. But from a dog side, dog perspective, it was for that dog to do what he did in that moment. It's a wild experience, from a behavior side. I'm not diminishing the tragic loss of life in any capacity. My actions were righteous. It was very clean. I ended up getting sued on it. As usual, you get sued for everything, especially in South Florida. But for the dog to be there in that moment and not to waver, and his foundation was on scared cops as a decoy. Like he worked on a couple talented people a few times, and that was like when he was a year old. So it was his genetics, the cream rose to the top. So he didn't have a whole lot of time on talented people, just cops throwing in a suit, doing what I asked him to do, and the dog thrives.